Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to show you how you can put a watermark on a photo using GIMP. And I'm going to show you two different ways of doing it. They're very similar and the concept is the same, but I just want to demonstrate how you can do it either with an image or with text. So if you have an image that you want to protect with a watermark, it's not too difficult to do. You just you can use a white version of your logo in PNG form or some other image that you can just bring into GIMP. And really all you got to do is open your photo in GIMP and it'll be on its own layer like this one is here that I have open, and then just drag in a copy of your logo that is, you know, in a PNG form. Now this one is pretty good size, so I can scale this down. Let's take this down to about 1500. So we scale that down. So now we have this image in here, and we can use it like this, or we can rotate it. Some people watermark theirs down in the lower right hand corner. Others will put the watermark all over the image, and so I'm going to do that. It's the most complicated. If you wanted to put it down here, you would be ready to go to the next step right now, because you would just put that down there and then go on to the part where we put the translucence on it. So if you want it in the lower right hand corner, you just put it down there and then go to the next step. If you want to do it all over the image like I'm going to show you, then you would need to do these other steps in between. So what I'm going to do is, just because it's the most complex out of all of them, I'm going to show you how to put it at an angle all over the image. So I'm going to take this layer that has the logo on it, and I'm going to come up here with this selected, right? I'm going to come up here and I'm going to do layer, transform, arbitrary rotation, and I'm going to click that, and you're going to see that this comes up, and it looks like this is what you want to focus on, but this is not really what we're after right here. What we're after is a little panel that will show up here as soon as I click this layer. Watch what happens when I click this layer. See how we get this rotation panel? Now you can rotate it on any of these points. You can rotate it on a corner, on any of the edges where there's a dot there. You can select that dot and that'll become basically the pivot point. We want the pivot point in the middle, which is what the default is. And then what we want to do is just type an angle in here. So I'm going to type in 45. Actually, I think I need to type in -45, but let's see. If I type in 45, yeah, it goes that way. So we want to go -45, and so there we have that. So now it's positioned the way we want it to be, but what we want to do now is make some copies of it. So I'll come down here and I will select that layer. First I positioned it where I want it to be, and if you want you could do it like this. And I'm going to hit Control-Shift-D, which will duplicate that layer just like that. Now you can also duplicate by right clicking and coming up to duplicate layers. You see there's the shortcut key that I just used. Duplicate layers. And what I've found is in order to make these easy to grab a hold of and position, I like to do two things. I like to lock down my image layer. So I'm going to select it and then hit the column, the checkbox that's in the lock column, and then when I get these options, I want to select the lock the move, lock the position, and the size. Now I can't come up here and drag this around on accident. And that's what happens if you don't have that locked down. you'll be trying to grab a hold of these to move them like this, and you'll end up grabbing that image and moving it, and it gets kind of frustrating. So we want that one. So now I'm just coming up here and dragging these out where I want them to be. And you can always add more. So Control-Shift-D will give you another one right where you had the previous one selected. And then let's put a couple of more. We'll put one here and one here. Control-Shift-D, Control-Shift-D, and I'll just put one down there and put one down here. So now we have basically cluttered up our image with our logo. And this is why watermarks are usually transparent, because they make a photo look bad. But we're going to put a transparency on it here in a minute. But first I want to combine all of these layers that have all of these logos on them. So I'm going to select all of the logo layers except for the lowest one. And then I'm going to come down here and merge all of these with that one by clicking the merge button. And now we have one layer that has all of it on it at once. So if you take a lot of photos, or generate a lot of photos, or create a lot of artwork that's the exact size, the same size every time, you could take this file and save it as a template and then just bring all of your work into this file underneath where we have the watermark, and then just export them that way. But what we're going to do is we're going to make this look a little more like a watermark instead of a bunch of logos stamped on top of an image. And we're going to do that with blend modes. So if you look here in my layers panel, there's a mode option here, and it's set to normal. But if we just kind of select that one and then arrow down through them, we can look at the different ways that we can watermark our images with these blend modes. Now this one's color erase, and what that does is it removes color everywhere there was white on top of the image. So you'll see here where her face is, you see how it's changed that to transparent. So that might not be the best one to use, but it's definitely an option. You can go through all of these actually. Some of them aren't really going to do anything. It depends on what colors are below it and how you're mixing them. So you just kind of got to look through here and see which ones you want to use. But there's one in here there's usually one in that works. That one looks really good to me, soft light, because you can see the image is still coming through. It's just got this white over the top of it. And you can stack these blend modes too, but so this would be an option for me in my opinion. But let's go through the rest of them. I think soft light's going to be the one I want to go with. You could do it dark like this. There's another one that looks very similar to soft light, so that one might be an option too. But you get the idea. You just go through here and look at the different ones. Some of them aren't going to do anything. Others will do something that maybe is acceptable to you. You just choose which one you want and then apply that, or leave it on the layer. And okay, so I've run through all of them, and I think soft light's going to be the best for this demonstration. So I'm going to go up to soft light, and then I'm going to show you how you can soften it. If it's too harsh, you can soften it up just by changing the opacity on that layer. And as you take this opacity down, it softens the watermark, so you can fine tune how you want it to look. Now, so this one's not overall noticeable, but it's enough to where it makes the image, if it's taken and used somewhere, they know where the image came from, and it would be very hard to get that out of there. I mean, you could do it. You could use GIMP to take this, to fix this image, but it would be so much work that people who are taking images, that they're not going to put that much effort into correcting this image and making it look like it wasn't watermarked. So that's one way. And you can do the same thing. I won't go through all of the same details, but I'll show you, you can do the same thing with text. Like if you just take text and put it on there and type out whatever you want, like you could type out, you know, whatever your company's name is in text, and then change the size to whatever you want it to be, and then just do the exact same thing that we just did with the image, only do it with text. See, now you have text on its own layer, and you can Control-Shift-D and copy that and do the exact same thing. The blend modes work the exact same way on text as they do on an image. So if I combine these, actually if I merge this one with the one below it, okay, and then I put a blend mode on it, since we know soft light seems to work, we'll just try that one again, and it does the same thing. You've got the same result. You can put, let's say you wanted to do it just down here in the lower right hand corner, and your opacity still works if it's text. You can take this down and soften it up, or you can leave it, you know, all the way up to 100. It just depends on what you want to do and how you want it to look. But that's how you can put a watermark on an image using GIMP. I hope that helps, and thanks for watching.